Kalimera, kalispera, kalinikta. No matter where in this wild, wacky, and sometimes wonderful world you might be, thank you for making the Highbury Squad part of your day. It's a new season. It's a blank canvas. Let's paint pictures and let's tell some football stories. Here we go, squaddies.
Mind the gap between the train and the platform. Please stand clear of the discussion doors. The next stop is Highbury Squad.
Good evening, everyone. I do apologize about the late notice and the late notification on today's show. It's been a little bit crazy. At ease, squaddies, at ease. Welcome to Squad Central. For those of you, most of you who'll be listening on replay on YouTube, thank you for also making us part of your day. Really appreciate you being here. For those of you who have made it live in the chat, listen to our Chief Like Officer here, Tammy Stills. At ease, Tammy. Remember to hit the like button on the way in and also subscribe if you haven't already. PW is here, Ian is here, Rosalind is here, Greeny Man is here, Trevor is here. Thank you guys so much for joining. I really appreciate it. Let me know if you can hear me okay. Mark joining. Hey Mark, how you doing? I don't have my mic or my usual setup, so let me know if you can hear me okay and all is well. Woof, it's hot and muggy in England. Man, today was a nicer day, actually. It was a little cooler, and as opposed to the game on Saturday, which was baking, I wore a white shirt and literally the back of my collar was absolutely black. It was hideous. It was so hot. And today it's kind of like a muggy day, but it was nice. The breeze came back, but it is a little bit hot here where I am, so forgive the sweats, etc. I really appreciate you joining. Today's show is going to be a little bit of a mix, and please do stay tuned until the very end for an announcement I have, a very important announcement, and I think an exciting announcement too. I really can't wait to share this news with all of you. So what I'm going to do is, I'm on my own today, flying solo. Wanted to have a conversation with you guys, not only about the game and my experience at the game on Saturday. It was wonderful to be there. But also, you know, as you guys know, we share a lot. And I wanted to kind of let you know the kind of week it has been. It has been an emotional week. It has been a beautiful week as well. And I really wanted to talk to my squaddies about it. And I wanted you to be part of it as much as you possibly can. So thanks to the late arrivals as well. BX is here. Raging Demon is here. They sure did, Mark. And one of the things I wanted to say as well is a lot of you reached out to me to get together. And I do apologize. It was kind of a different kind of visit, if you like, and I would have loved to have seen as many of you as I could. I still owe Carol that email, so please accept my apologies. But next time I'm in town, I will arrange a spot where we can all meet and hang out together. So yeah, it was a little bit difficult to see everybody on this particular trip. Fergus from Guns and Yellow Ribbons joining, and thanks to Fergus, who's pulled together a video that he has put together with others, and a few clips on YouTube as well. I'm going to be sharing that with you in just a little bit here. So stay tuned. We're going to go through all of that. Good evening, Tom, as well. Good evening, KK. How you doing? So yes. Let's get stuck into a little bit of the game and football. I won't dwell on it too much. It's the first game of the season. And then I can give you an update and talk through kind of the week that it has been as well. The Arsenal start off 3 points at the Emirates. Saka and Havertz putting the icing on Super Kev's tribute day. And I thought the two of them were the standout stars of the match against Wolves. And by the way, I'm not sure if Wolves actually came to play football on Saturday. Seemed like they played a little bit like Stoke City, old school, a bit of rough and tumble, bit of NFL. And even though I was going to talk about this a little bit later on, kind of dissecting the game, what in the F was this? How was this not a red card? I do not understand that at all. I mean, I know that Havertz grabbed the player first around the shoulders, but this dude literally grabbed Kai by the throat and he was pushing him to the ground. And I just don't understand. In fact, the entire game, that referee was absolute garbage. And sometimes people call Arsenal fans absolutely crazy for thinking there's a conspiracy theory, there's a bias, and that, you know, people kind of come at us and with a dartboard and they love to throw the darts and mostly want to hit the bullseye every single time. But this is what makes Arsenal fans absolutely nuts. And I don't know if there's anyone in the chat that disagrees with me. Let me know in the YouTube comments. I was highly offended. And where I was sitting, I had a screen where I could watch it back immediately. And I just couldn't believe that he got away with this. Absolutely atrocious. And the level of refereeing in that match was pants, if I may say so myself. Yeah, exactly. Tommy got sent off for pulling a shirt last season. And it, to me, felt like, I don't even know if I remember if it went to VAR. I may have, and I'm, you know, I'm being a little, I'm not kind of remembering, but the fact that that wasn't a red card, the fact that there was no punishment whatsoever just blows my mind. And buckle in, fans, buckle in, everybody, because if that's how the season's going to go, it's going to be a long ass season for us fans. And I don't even know if it's ridiculous he got nothing. Yeah, exactly, Tom. Exactly. And Ian, I'm not even sure this will happen. I really am not. And this new handball thing as well, I just don't get that either. Back in the day, I remember a handball being a handball. I mean, the rules are changing all the time. So I think it's going to be another one of those seasons where, unfortunately, we're going to see some daft decisions, some non-decisions, some decisions that are going to frustrate us. But one thing I've vowed to myself not to do is blame any of that on wins and losses. I know it's going to be really difficult to do, but I'm going to try my damnedest to try and, you know, not let these referees or these non-decisions ruin my football experience this season. It was absolutely terrible. Carol, good evening. I was just telling everyone that I owe you an email, maybe because no one reacted. Now, this is a really good point, because I felt like last season we were really good at, even though you couldn't touch the referee and only the captain can go up to the referee or whatever the bloody new rule is, I don't know, is that we need to put more pressure. Don't have to touch the referee, but the players or Odegaard, someone needs to put pressure on the referee. We need to make more of a fuss. I thought last season we did better at shithousery and dark arts. But yeah, you bring up a really good point, Greenie Man. I don't think that we made enough of a fuss to kind of put the referee under pressure. I'm not even sure it would have made a difference, if I'm being honest. But yeah, VAR checked it. Thank you, Rosalind. And yeah, ridiculous. Absolutely terrible. Evening, Priska. How you doing? And thanks to those of you who are continuing to join the live show. So yeah, I start off with a negative because we want to get all of that out the way. So let's talk about the match. King Kai, Crown's opening day. Beautiful cross from Bukayo and a stunning header from Kai Havertz. King Kai starts off this season exactly where he left off last season. Some folks think that he had a mixed Euros. I believe that he had a really good tournament. I think Kai's one of those players that doesn't really get appreciated because he does so much off the ball as much as he does on the ball. We couldn't have asked for any more from a number 9 to get a goal. And those headers, the positions that he puts himself in, just felt like he was alert, he was ready for the challenge, and he was always in a position to try and help the team. And I thought that Kai Havertz had a really, really good game. And I hope that this is the Kai Havertz that we're going to see as the season goes on. As we know, from August to around Dubai, he didn't really have a particularly good start to his Arsenal career. But then from January onwards through to the end of the season, I think that Kai was one of our best players. No doubt about that. Red Bull Vodka could use one of those right now and stay up. Thinks he's happy with Havertz's performance. Barry thinks that Havertz was good for Germany in the Euros. King Kai, indeed, Tammy. Yeah, he was really good. And I thought that he and Saka were our two best players. I think there were 4 players that really put the team on their back in that first game of the season and were ready to play. I thought that there were some players that looked gassed. And I'm not going to dig anybody out here. It's the first game of the season, and some of the overreaction has just been astounding to me. It is literally August, and there is a long way to go. So I suggest some of you kind of hold your energy because you're going to need it, you know. Listen, to kind of dig players out and demand this and demand that. I understand we can critique performances, but it being the first game of the season, I'm going to hold off a little bit on ripping players to shreds. You know, I think the Copa America and Euros players, barring David Raya, Havertz, Bukayo, didn't have particularly good games. I've never seen Saliba give the ball away so much. Gabriel and Saliba weren't on the same page. Zinchenko, I think, had good moments. He faded in the last half an hour of the match, and I think that's a bit of a trend. I was talking to Albert about that at the weekend, and I agree with him in that starts off quite well, and then the mental engagement in the game just kind of fades, and felt like maybe, you know, he was lacking a little bit of energy too. The player I was really most surprised about was Declan Rice. I didn't think Declan had I think that other than the West Ham game last season, I think that's about the worst performance I've seen from Declan in an Arsenal shirt. And again, he's played a lot of football. He played a lot of football the season before he came to us, going all the way to the European Conference final. He played a lot of minutes for us last year. He went to the Euros, a very tight break. And, you know, we're seeing the results of that now, I think. Martinelli, who looked bright in pre-season, didn't look particularly on the ball. He kind of reverted back to a little bit of looking down too much, Martinelli. And I don't think that he offered the team too much. And I was surprised to see him stay on the pitch for as long as he did. And maybe Mikel wanted him to play out of the funk because maybe Mikel thinks that Martinelli, Kai and Saka are going to be his kind of go-to front three when all are fit. But yeah, some of the Copa players, some of the Euros players had a really quiet match. Kondwani says, I agree about Declan. Can't remember what he actually did. He will come good. He looked gassed. I mean, I was there and I was watching him and I kept my eye on him for a little bit. And he just looked absolutely like gasping for breath at times. And he did not have a good game, but he's probably completely and utterly exhausted. Omaguna, Trossard or Jesus need to start and not Martinelli. Martinelli should be an impact sub because he's not good enough to start. I mean, I'm not sure if that's fair, Omar, because just a few seasons ago, Martinelli was our golden child. You know, we had the star boy and the golden child, Batman and Robin. Yeah, he did. He got Rice, who's everyone's favorite, got cramp, so calm down. Yeah, it was crazy. Tom says, if you've heard it here first, when we win the league this year, we'll get a Kai tattoo. Wow. I'd like to see that. That would be very, very interesting. Hi there, Alare. Chris, we're going to talk about this in just a little bit. No doubt about it. There's a good stat about his goal involvement too. You're talking about Kai, I'm assuming, Ian. Let me know. Saka's goal was elite. And let's talk about Saka. I thought Bukayo, who has played more minutes than most, was absolutely superb. I don't understand. It's really funny because I was talking to my cousin who was there at the game with me, and I said, nice one. Well done, Leicester City. We love that. I was saying that there's times when Bukayo can be predictable. And I thought in spurts in this game, he was a little bit predictable. But at the same time, I think he's elevated his game to such new levels, to the point where that goal that he scored against England, it's his signature move. And we're seeing that more and more. And it's so funny because defenders know that he wants to get in that position and that he wants to get that ball on his sweet spot, on his left pin. And he still makes it difficult for them. And as soon as I had said that, bosh, he scored. And he takes that beautifully. And every single time he got the ball, I felt something was going to happen. I felt like he was the brightest of the Arsenal players, considering that he has played the most minutes. So for me, Bukayo got off to a really great start, got a goal as well, our top scorer last season. And, you know, he's just such a special player. And I put this in the caption here, Bukayo, a legend in the making. I know legendary status can be reached when you win things. I mean, Harry Kane didn't win anything, and he's considered a legend at Tottenham, and England's highest goal scorer, a legend. But Bukayo truly feels like a legend in the making. And we saw also the reception that he got from Arsenal fans when he came off. Just beautiful. I mean, he's so beloved, and rightly so, such a special player. And it is really, as a fan, to have a player like him who's come through the academy, who's reached reaching superstar status and becoming the marketing, the face of the England team, if you like, the face of Arsenal. He is absolutely, undeniably, for me, just so important. And the way he plays the game with such kind of grace, and the fact that he's such a good kid off the pitch as well. I love me some Bukayo, and I thought that he was brilliant. And it's very fitting that he's wearing the number 7 shirt. And I agree with Chris, time and time again over the last few seasons, he makes the cut inside and scores. And it's really quite a beautiful thing to behold. A lot of you writing about Thomas Partey. I actually thought Thomas Partey started the first half pretty well, but he faded, didn't he? And I've seen a lot of tweets tonight saying, I know we've been wanting to get Marino, but apparently Gundogan is available. Tom Canton will let me know if I've butchered his name as well. But yeah, you can see that in that midfield area, and we spoke about it a little on a previous show as well with Dan Potts. The midfield is what concerns me the most. Fabio Vieira, I don't think is quite there yet. He can't even stay fit. Nwaneri is versatile, but he's young and he's not been tested at that level as well. You've got Jorginho, who I think I would start above Partey all the time right now. But he can't play every single game. So the midfield for me is the biggest concern when it comes to the season. I think if we don't strengthen in midfield, we could find ourselves in a little bit of a pickle as well. We've got to be mindful of that. I don't know if you guys agree with me, let me know. But for me, above and beyond a striker, you break records last year, you score more goals than the Invincibles. I don't think that was our issue, was not taking our chances. Yes, if you have a prolific striker, that can add to kind of catching and making up those inches I keep talking about with Manchester City. But cover for Saka, the midfield area, that's where I think things will come back to bite us in the arse, because we know we can score goals. And let's be honest, we beat City, we beat Liverpool, we got a point against each away from home, but we dropped points to West Ham, we dropped points to Fulham, we lost twice to Aston Villa. Those are the spaces where we gave up the league last season. So midfield for me is a huge concern. Fergus says, don't worry about butchering names of players. I've done it for years and I don't think anyone noticed yet. Odegaard is very special. And I thought that he had a good game. He faded in and out at times, but my goodness, he made a turn in the first half that made me dizzy. He is such a good player. And I ask you the question, is he the best midfielder in Europe right now? I mean, I believe, okay, Rodri for me is not only the best player in the Premier League, but I put him up there as the best player in the world. I know you can have your Mbappes. If I'm starting a team, I'm starting a team with Rodri, not Mbappe. Number one, building a nucleus around a player like that, I would do all day long. I'm sure Mbappe will win things now at Real Madrid, but, you know, I would pick Rodri all day long. But for me, Odegaard is up there. When we're talking about the best, I don't think it's just a conversation now about him being the best in the Premier League. I think it's a conversation about him being one of the best in the world. Yeah, I believe he is, Tammy. I really do. Where is Mikel and where is Marino? Stay calm, Omar. Stay calm. Stay calm. I'm sure it's coming. We're not going to be held to ransom. If there's one thing I can tell you guys that I know for sure, we will not be held to ransom anymore. And I know people are frustrated about the Eddie thing too, but this is what we've complained about for years and years, not getting top dollar for our players, not getting what our players are worth, inbound and outbound. And I think that we need to just hold tight here. You know, the end of the window is where most of the action happens. I know previously we've done business early, but we're not going to be held to ransom anymore. And listen, as you know, I spent time with the team and I spoke to Josh in Los Angeles. They know what they're doing. I truly believe and I trust in what they're doing. As you know, I wasn't a believer in Mikel at the beginning. I just wasn't. But it's undeniable what is happening and what has happened at the club, especially over the last 2.5 years. And I think that we need to put our trust and faith in them, that they're learning. And the curves that they've been learning over a period of time are evident, right? You need to recruit better players, the DNA, the profile. They needed to rebuild the rapport with the fans. They needed to spruce up the Emirates. They needed to sell better. And I'm hoping this is the window where we sell better. And I just think that they're not willing to give away players for free anymore. And we've done that for so long. And it's hurt us financially. So I think we just need to calm our jets. We can't have our cake and eat it too. Yeah, so for me, Odegaard, I think, is just going to be integral to what we do this season. And I know from a conversation that I had with someone close at the club, they really want to protect Odegaard this season. And bringing in Mikel Merino, I think, gives us opportunities to be creative in the midfield area. And it was a very inspiring conversation that I had. You know, they want to protect Martin Odegaard, Declan Rice, Thomas Partey clearly can't play an entire season. He comes in. He's actually quite an aggressive player. He's a goal-scoring midfielder as well, which I think we all like. We need more goals from midfield. You kind of want to have, you know, that Lampard, Gerrard charging forward, scoring goals type of player as well. And I think this gives us the ability to mix it up. And once again, not to sound like a broken record, the midfield area for me is the most critical component for this season. Now, as bad as our defense was, I think David Raya was brilliant. And in many ways. So when I'm in the stadium and I'm watching matches, everyone likes cake raging. When I'm in the stadium watching matches, I like to focus on a player for a little bit. And I did that with David Raya on Saturday. What I liked about David Raya and what he offered in this match, and I hope it's going to be indicative of him going forward, because I felt like he did it not all season last season, but he did do it when needed. He was bellowing at the defense for most of the game. And he was very unhappy with some of the positions that he was put in, despite the fact that he made some superb saves and could have easily been our man of the match. Take your pick from Saka and David Raya, Kai Havertz for me. He was on the ball. He was alert. We know that he's great at coming and taking the ball, but his distribution is superb. And I think he's a player that a lot of us have grown to respect in terms of what he has brought to the team. But one of the things that I really appreciated about what he did at the weekend was how vocal he was. And he had the attention of his defense as well when he was vocal. Clearly, he's very respectful. He's very respected. And you could see that, you know, and he was put in a pickle quite a few times. I don't think Saliba's going to have a game like that much this season where he gives the ball away so cheaply. That was an anomaly and kind of weird to watch in the game where he actually was the fastest Arsenal player to reach 50 wins. I believe that's correct. You guys can correct me if I'm wrong, but that's an astounding achievement for a player who's been at the club for the amount of time that he has. This picture courtesy of BR Football. He was and has been one of our best players since he's come back from his loan spell. But yeah, I can't see Saliba having too many games like that this season. It was a little strange to say the least. He struggled a lot. Again, another player who's played a lot of football, coming back from the Euros. And one of the things Mikel's going to have to manage really well is his starting 11, because he likes to squeeze what he can out of the same players week in, week out. And you can't win the league like that. And it's cost us the last couple of seasons with injuries. And you can't afford to lose Saka. You can't afford to lose Saliba. You can't afford to lose Odegaard. You can't afford to lose Kai Havertz. I put him in that spine. You know, it goes Saliba, Declan Rice, Odegaard, Saka, and Havertz. Our most important players, in my humble opinion. And yeah, I think he's getting there. He needs, you know, he's got that consistency now. And, you know, he's a very special player. So that was a little bit weird. Saliba gave the ball away more times in that game. Absolutely. Yeah. And as I said, I don't think he's going to have too many games like that. Raya had the Golden Gloves last season because he faced the fewest shots for a keeper, played more than 30 matches. He played 32 matches and faced 70 shots total. Still needed to keep those clean sheets. James, are you at my mate cousin George's? If so, send my love. What a great man he is. He is a great man, isn't he? Snoring right now. Yeah, couldn't stay up for the show. Couldn't stay up. Ornstein just reported Wolves offer for loan a buyout option for Ramsdale. I saw Aaron on Saturday. I'll get to that a little bit later. I'm just going to wrap up the game. Really, I thought 3 points, got to get a positive start. And, you know, at this point, you want to get off on the right foot. You don't want people starting to whisper, is this going to be the same Arsenal as we've seen in the last 2 seasons? We did what we had to do. It was a very professional performance. Yes, Wolves had some solid chances. David Raya did what he has to do, is save those opportunities when they come. Yes, we were a little cheap giving the ball away at the back. Thomas Partey, who started giving the ball away a little bit too cheaply as well. Zinchenko at times did the same. But overall, I felt like we deserved to win that game. And to be quite honest with you, we could have won that game by 4 or 5-0. At no point did I feel stressed about Wolves. I thought Wolves looked poor and they came to play rugby, not football. So for me, I thought a really good, solid performance, a professional performance, and one where we walked away with 3 points. Now, next weekend, this coming weekend, it's going to be tougher, right? We face Aston Villa. We dropped 6 points to them last season, and Emery definitely has Arteta's number a little bit. So we're going to have to proceed with caution there, and we're going to have to be a lot better than we were against Wolves. So the big games come thick and fast in the Premier League. No excuses. This is one that we've got to win and play better in than we did. I thought away from home, we were poor last season. I thought the game at home, we started off really well, but we gave away 2 stupid opportunities and they buried their chances. If Trossard buries that chance early on in the first half against Aston Villa at home, I think that's a totally different result and a totally different game. Emery's Arteta's dad. Let me know if you can hear me okay as well. because I don't have my mic and I'm not used to not having my mic. So I just want to make sure that you guys have good sound quality as well. Miss Melina, Soph, and Donna Potts, welcome to Squad Central. Thanks for joining, everyone. Hit that like button. We really appreciate it. Right, so overall, let me know, you guys. Here we go. Performance, if you're going to mark it out of 10. And as you guys know, Super Kev will be sitting here saying, stop it. It's the first game of the season. You know, we got the result. We got the 3 points. We move on. And for me, I thought it was an 8 out of 10 performance. Not many people are going to agree with me on giving 8 out of 10. But I think that, you know, we did what we had to do. And we know that we've got to do better. So, yeah, 3 points and we move on, right? Thank you very much, Fergus. Okay, that's the game for me in a nutshell. We'll talk about the Villa game a little bit later on this week. So well done, Kai Havertz, and well done, Saka, and well done, David Raya, and well done, Martin Odegaard. And congratulations on Saliba being the fastest to 50 wins as well. And let's hope that you have better games this season, which I'm sure you will. Also, thank you, Saka and Havertz, for putting the happiness on the tribute day for Super Kevin Campbell. We're getting some 7s, 7.5, 7.5, 6s, 7s, 7s. We're getting an 8. 7 would be generous, but 3 points is 3 points. All right, Cliff. 7.5, 7.5 from Donna, 7.5 from Wesbird, 8 for Priska, 7 for Paul. 7 for Barry, 7 from Fergus. It was a 6. Omar's not very happy tonight. And that's fine. That is Omar's prerogative. And if you didn't listen to the pre-recorded show that I did, a new series I'm starting, What Does It Mean? Short video content that I'm going to be bringing to you throughout the season. It's 10 minutes. Please go watch it. The first episode is What Does It Mean to Be a Fan? And Omar has every right to give the Arsenal a 6 if that's what he believes. But please share that video and hit the like button on it and make some comments as well. I'm going to be doing a lot more pre-recorded content. It's so funny because the pre-recorded stuff doesn't get as many views as the live stuff because people like the engagement more. But if you can please go check it out, I would really appreciate it. All right, so it was an interesting kind of week, of course. It was Kev service on Wednesday, sorry. I flew in from Los Angeles on Tuesday. And I wanted to share with you guys kind of the last few days and what it has been like. And Kev service was absolutely beautiful. And it was just done so well. His family are as beautiful as he. Tyrese and Kyle, I got to spend some time with them, which was really quite special. And it really was an emotional and beautiful celebration of his life. Kev's auntie got up and said, you know, we're not mourning the loss of Kevin, we're celebrating Kevin's life. And she started singing and everyone started singing and clapping. And it was the most beautiful ceremony. It was filled with phenomenal stories about the amazing human being that he was. And he truly would have loved that. There was so much energy. The songs, the hymns that were chosen were really beautiful as well. And at first I was a little bit worried because I wasn't quite sure what to expect walking into something that you're already feeling a little bit emotional about. And it actually ended up being a day where I'm so happy I was surrounded by really good friends like Lee Judges and David Hillier. We got a chance to spend quite a bit of time together and tell funny stories. And it really helped. And then I really wanted to commend Kev's family, his brothers, his sister, aunts, uncles, nieces, nephews. just a wonderful family who put on the most incredible celebration of life, and they should be so proud of themselves. They absolutely smashed it, and it was brilliant. And I was also, these two are just such special boys, and I don't think you guys would think anything less. The way that they handled themselves on the day, you know, just looking at things from a positive perspective as much as they could, despite how difficult the whole thing is and was. You know, Tyrese signing for Sheffield United, and Kyle also signing for his new club. It was really so nice to see. And I know how proud Super Kev was of them, and would be as well. And we wish both of them all the best for the coming season. And we're going to follow their careers very closely. I'm going to share a lot of stuff with you whenever we can. I wanted to talk a little bit about the service, because there were so many people there, so many. And it was indicative. Lee Judges actually said something to me that at a time it made me chuckle, and it was a perfect moment for him to share it. He's like, look how many people there are. How did he even ever have time for us? And it's so true. I mean, there were hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people paying their respects. And interim manager Lee Carsley was there, who sat in the back, very unassuming. Don Hutchison was there. Francis Jeffers was there. Alan Myers, a good friend of the show, who you saw on the tribute show as well, all representing Everton Football Club, were there. And Tony Adams, we'll talk about some Arsenal players who were there. Before I get to the Arsenal players, Les Ferdinand was there. Frank Sinclair, another good friend of the show, who's been on the show a couple of times with myself and Kev, was there, gave them all a big hug. Les Ferdinand and Andrew Cole, was there. And he was wearing the coolest dicky bow and suit. And he looked the part. And you know what else, you guys? There was so many people there wearing dicky bows. It was beautiful. Men wearing dicky bows, women wearing dicky bows. It was perfectly Kevin. And Andrew Cole, got used to calling him Andrew Cole, who I'm sure you've heard the funny story of Lee and Kevin when they were at Old Trafford, where they stitched Andrew Cole up. You know, he and Kevin have known each other since they were boys. And so to see these players who weren't associated with the Arsenal there as well, paying respects, was unbelievable. And then the Arsenal players, Tony Adams, Ian Wright, Martin Keown, Paul Merson, Perry Groves, David Hillier. I know I'm going to forget some, but Michael Thomas, Paul Davis, David Seaman, they were all there. And it was brilliant because, as you know, on our on our Walk Down Memory Lane shows and on the shows we did with David, they loved talking about those days, right? And you guys loved hearing stories about those days. And it was wonderful to see them all there. And Paul Davis, Pops, as Kev called him, did a speech, and it was beautiful. And he is a beautiful human being, making sure everyone's all right, giving hugs. And, he remembered the conversation that we had on the Highbury Squad when he was releasing his book. He spoke about the South London days, spoke about, how Kevin kind of looked up to him as well. And you guys know that Kevin really looked up to him in so many ways. So it was really, really beautiful when Paul spoke and he talked about the old days, which Kevin loved so very much. And yeah, he did it justice. And Michael Thomas was wearing a dicky bow as well. And, it's funny because every time I see Michael Thomas, all I can hear is in my head is, Michael Thomas, it's up for grabs now, Thomas. So, yeah, those guys meant everything to Kevin. And as you know, Stuart McFarlane's favourite photo is the one he took of Rocastle, Kevin, Pops, Paul Davis and Michael Thomas in the dressing room after winning the league, where Kevin's holding the cigar. That's Stuart's favourite photo. And that photo is one of Kevin's all-time favourite photos. He loved that photo and he loved that moment and he loved that celebration. So, yeah, it was really lovely. But then kind of my hair's going up a little bit, because then after the service, Arsenal Football Club held the reception at the Emirates in the North Bank. And there was a massive screen where they were showing Super Kev's goals and photos and all these wonderful memories. And then there were tables where everyone sat, a buffet, food until one end of the Emirates to the other, everything you could think of that you could eat. And his brother spoke, and then they announced, which we squaddies are going to be a huge part of, the Kevin Campbell Foundation, which launched last week. And, you know, I'm going to do everything I can to help the family with that. And the foundation is also associated with the Arsenal Foundation. And I'm going to put the links in the description of the show. We're going to share it throughout the season and beyond. You guys know that Super Kev loved helping others. He loved his work that he did with children in the Middle East and in Africa, and also in the local communities wherever he played football. Every single football fan of the clubs that he played for absolutely loved him. And so we're going to be doing everything we can to support the Kevin Campbell Foundation. And we'll be talking a little bit more about that in the coming weeks as well. So look out for more information on that. And can't wait to kind of raise money and, you know, keep Kevin's legacy going through the foundation as well. Yeah, it is. It's brilliant. It is really brilliant. And the family got that set up, and for the club to make it part of the Arsenal Foundation is really quite splendid. And I see your messages, and I'll try and put up as many as I possibly can. So yeah, it was a wonderful, wonderful moment, and we're gonna talk more about that in the coming weeks as well, you guys. So I'm at the reception, and then all of a sudden I turn to my right and I see George Graham and Pat Rice. Kevin would have loved that, right, you guys? He would have absolutely loved that. It was so wonderful to see them both there. And Charlie George, one of Kevin's favourite people, was also there as well. These legends of the Arsenal Football Club, coaches, managers, players that Kevin looked up to in so many ways, were there to be with Kevin's family and to pay respects to the great man. And it was just truly awesome to see that. And I had to go up to Pat Rice and speak to him, because, as you guys know, one of Kevin's favourite photos was the one where Pat Rice is handing over the £20 to him with the bet that they had. And I went over to Pat Rice, introduced myself, we had a hug. And I said, you know, Kev still thought that you owed him some money. He started laughing. He goes, there's no way I owed him any money. And I told him that photo was one of his favorites, and he loved it too. And we had a little bit of a chat about Kevin, and he really appreciated the fact that I let him know as well that was one of Kevin's favorite photos. But yeah, it was really wonderful to see a legend like Pat Rice and George Graham there as well. Because Kevin loved playing under them, loved working with them. He feels like he grew up a man at the Arsenal, and they had such a massive, massive part to play in all of that. And, you know, Ian, it really does. It shows you the mark of the man. Just amazingly special human who I've never seen anything like it. I really haven't. And, you know, I got a chance to speak to David Seaman at the game on Saturday. And, you know, he too was just telling wonderful stories. And, you know, he just adored and loved Kevin so much, and Kevin loved Safe Hands as well. And it was just really cool to just talk to these legends about our legend and, you know, what he meant to our community, not only what he meant to Arsenal Football Club and Everton Football Club and Forest as well as a footballer, the community surrounding all of those clubs, but what he meant to us squaddies here. And, you know, the memories that we kind of created together over the last 4 or 5 years. And yeah, it was really cool to have an opportunity to talk to David Seaman about that as well. So really just amazing. And a beautiful celebration of Kevin, the human being. And I wanted to play something for you to kind of bring you into the moment. Fergus, I'm umming and ahhing a lot tonight. I do apologize. Fergus from Guns and Yellow Ribbons sent me a video earlier today, and it's the one I mentioned at the top of the show where he talked about how some people have helped him put it together. Thanks to Fergus at Guns and Yellow Ribbons. Thanks to Fergus's block as well. It was really cool, the game on Saturday, the tribute beforehand. You'll see a little bit here. Why don't I just play it for you?
Super, Super Kevin, Super, Super Kevin, Super, Super Kevin, Super Kevin Campbell, Super, Super Kevin, Super, Super Kevin, Super Kevin Campbell, Super, Super Kevin, Super, Super Kevin, Super, Super Kevin, Super Kevin Campbell.
On the 15th of June, we lost an Arsenal legend with the passing of our much-loved former player, Kevin Campbell, who died at the age of 54. Our parents are here today. There is a family still here.
Amazing. Absolutely amazing. I hope you guys enjoyed that and it brought you into the moment a little bit. It was, I'm going to admit, I lost it completely. Yeah, I couldn't hold back. Tom Canton was sitting behind me in the press box, and it was very, very emotional. It all hit on that moment, you know, on that day. This is Stuart McFarlane's photo of the Arsenal bench clapping during Kev's tribute right before kickoff. Everyone standing up and applauding. It was beautiful. Everyone wearing black armbands. I got to go to the North Banksy homage in the tunnel where he's created some beautiful work for many, many players. And this was a bit of a moment, you know, for me as well. And it made it really cool seeing my friends, Dan and Albert and Tom. We got together after the game spontaneously, and it was really good tonic to kind of, you know, get a hug from them as well. So all in all, just an incredible, incredible week, paying tribute to an incredible human being. And I wanted to share it with you. and I wanted to bring you guys closer to the moment with me because we've all been through a lot together. And I know it means a lot to you guys as much as it does to me as well. So we'll continue talking, of course, about Super Kev. And I have a bit of an announcement to make. I know that you guys miss this young fella, and I miss him terribly too. But this coming season, starting on the 28th of August, I will be rejoined on Highbury Squad by Kyle Campbell. He'll be coming back to Squad Central. We had a great chat this week, and he misses doing the shows. He misses being on the show. And yes, he's signed for his new club, but Super Kyle will be on the channel a couple of times a month, and we'll be doing a really specific fun show together. And I think that you guys are going to enjoy it and love it a lot. And so, yeah, Kyle is coming back. The 28th of August will be our first show. And I can't wait for that. I'm really excited to kind of be doing shows with him again. And, you know, the legacy lives on in different ways. And it will continue, you know, to live on in different ways. We're going to have great guests on this season. David Hillier will be here to be doing, you know, player analysis with us. As you guys know, we've got great friends of the show, ex-players, managers, journalists, our fellow YouTubers and podcasters. Got some really good stuff to share with you. I also wanted to announce that football prizes are coming back this season as a sponsor of the show. So I'm very excited to welcome football prizes back into the Highbury Squad family. And we'll be launching our first piece with them this coming Thursday. So you're not going to want to miss that either. Plus a couple of other big announcements coming in the next couple of weeks. One, which I'm also excited. I'm excited about Kyle. I'm excited about having football prizes back. And there's one in particular show that's coming that I think you guys and a lot of people around our listeners around the world will really be interested in and love. I can't say too much about it right now, but we'll be making the announcement in the next week or so. So stay tuned for that too. It's exactly what Kevin wanted. He wanted the Highbury Squad to go on and be bigger and better than ever. And so that is exactly what we are going to do together. Please share the channel with your friends. Let everybody know about Highbury Squad. And there'll be lots of other things that I'm passionate about that I'm going to be doing on the channel this season too. As you know, I launched Showbiz Squad. Some of you watched. I know, like, this is an Arsenal channel, but there's a few things I'm going to do that just kind of keep my creative juices going. My interview with Jennifer Esposito, who is a wonderful actress. She's a writer-director now, directed her own film. That's going to post this week as well. Absolute superstar. And it's a great interview, and I think you guys are going to enjoy it very, very much. All right. I also just wanted to say thanks to my cousin Aggie, who was with me at the weekend. It was nice to be surrounded, like I said, by some of our friends and, you know, family in football, friends in football. I also got to see Nick Ramsdale as well and spent some time with the Ramsdales, you know, after the match, which was beautiful. And I'll tell you a little bit more about that, you know, in the coming weeks. But really what's to say is everyone's well. Nick sends his love to each and every one of you, misses the squaddies. And it was great to give him a hug and to see him and Aaron as well. Who I got to speak to a little bit about Kevin and just a really amazing human he is, as well as a brilliant goalkeeper. And I think we all love Aaron to bits and pieces. And as I said, I also got to speak to David Seaman as well. So really good stuff. It was an epic week and it was full of love and full of all this good stuff. And the Arsenal got 3 points, which would have made Super Kev super happy as well. And I just wanted to say a massive thank you to Arsenal Football Club, who looked after me on Saturday, to Dan and Kate and Lynn, and everybody over there who treated me so well. I got to sit in and watch Mikel do his press conference as well, which was a really good treat. And it was really beautiful to connect with some people at the club in a different way. And it was nice to kind of see everyone again so soon after the Los Angeles and US tour as well. So thank you to each and every one of you for making the week insane. And, you know, we're always proud to be Arsenal fans, but Arsenal Football Club have done a tremendous job with recognizing and respecting Kevin's legacy and putting all of their love and might behind some of the events that happened this week as well. And Everton Football Club will be paying respect to Kevin this coming weekend. I believe they're playing Bournemouth, and Kevin's family will be attending that as well. So listen, I love you guys tons and tons, and it has been hopefully a show that you've enjoyed. I hope you enjoyed a little bit of the insights into the week. And, you know, here's to a phenomenal season. We're going to try and keep our shit together and not go too crazy too soon. Support the club and support the players and enjoy the journey along the way. And let's hope it ends in us becoming champions of England this season. Man City are getting on my nerves already. So really, you know, the world is aligning as it should. Hit that like button, as Trevor says. Please do so. Share this with all of your friends who want to know a little bit more about the events of the week. I'd really appreciate that too. And thank you, Mark. I really appreciate that. I've held it together pretty well. And, you know, sorry for the late notice on the show. And please let me know what you think in the YouTube comments as well for those listening on replay. All right, kids. I will alert you earlier for the next show this week. And then as of next week, we'll resume to a normal schedule. We're doing live shows on Mondays, Wednesdays and Fridays, and then we pre-recorded stuff for you on the Tuesday and the Thursday. Tom will be back soon with another Spend Stick Sell as the transfer window comes to an end. There'll be a new Get Off the Potsy. Lee will be on, Harry will be on. They'll all be doing a show once a month on the channel as well. All right, take care, love you lots, and at ease, squaddies, at ease.
Mind the gap between the train and the platform. Please stand clear of the discussion doors. The next stop is Highbury Squad.
Where's the button?